Before we begin, I just wanted to let you know that all of the footage for this episode was live streamed over on Twitch, link in the description, where I was able to interact with you guys whilst filming the runs for this episode. If you want to join in the mayhem, then go ahead and follow, as all future recording sessions will be live streamed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. In today's video, we'll be completing Hitman 3's first mission on top of the world on master difficulty with suit only, silent assassin fully intact, the entire HUD turned off with no cuts and no saves. The mission is quite simply to eliminate both targets, and the video will be broken down into two stages. The first stage is the plan. This is where I'll be scoping out the level, finding paths and secret passageways, picking up intel and making lots and lots of mistakes. The second stage is the execution. This is where all HUD options will be turned off, and I'll carry out the plan that was designed in stage 1. As always, the loadout for the mission will be the original starting location, 47 signature suit. Hang on. Okay, so with Season 3, there appears to be a couple of missions where if I choose the original starting location, then I'm unable to select the usual loadout, so we'll just be heading in with the lockpick this time. Welcome to Supercut, the series where we take an entire Let's Play and condense it into one video. My name is Mr. Supercut, and this is the planning stage of Hitman 3's On Top of the World. In Run 1, we started the mission having luckily landed on a metal beam precariously high above the clouds of the world's largest skyscraper. I clambered across to a conveniently placed window cleaning platform, listened to Gray's advice, and unlocked the window using my magic camera, very slowly headed through a ventilation system, found a coin that had somehow ended up here, up a ladder, into a back room, and finally through the magic curtain, pulled off a quick change and stepped foot into El Dorado. I headed up the stairs, and the glare from the sun gave 47's bold head a run for its money. The man stood on the platform, and who the building was named after was Mr. Al-Ghazali, who makes several appearances throughout the Hitman franchise, dating all the way back to our very first mission in Paris, but this is not a lore video, so that's all we'll be discussing about that. I located the targets using my instinct, continued up the nearby staircase, and stumbled across Minecon 2024.
What's the recommended amount of detonated wham?
I wandered around for a bit and eventually found our first target, Marcus Stuyvesant. I followed him toward a balcony and then watched as he headed down the stairs, but was rudely interrupted by a gentleman attempting to break it down. Gray told me that he wanted to address the two Providence partners before I murdered them, and suggested I find a nearby map of the floor to help in accomplishing this task, which is a strange requirement considering I entered the building with a map of every single aspect of the entire area. I headed back up the stairs, waited for a guard to move along, picked the lock to a secret security door, and stumbled across two guards currently not doing anything. I flipped the switch to the electrics, clambered into the locker, jumped back out, knocked him out, dumped his body, picked up his silenced pistol, and forgot to switch the electrics back on, meaning the second guard came to investigate as well. Which is hilarious, of course, because he'd been sat there typing away at the computer and not realizing his PC was actually switched off the entire time. I knocked him out and dumped his body as well, destroyed the surveillance system, picked up a random key that I wouldn't need, and then tried to get my bearings. I headed into the corridor and didn't realize for a short while that I wasn't trespassing. Then headed back through the security office and out the other side, finding the fussiest woman in the world, and then almost got detected by a guard. He didn't seem interested enough to actually come and investigate, however, so the stakes weren't very high. I wasn't sure where to take it next, so headed back through to the security office and round the other side, running straight into the guard with my live reaction here.
Oh, no! Dang it!
I took him out along with the investigating janitor and then dragged both of their bodies into the security office, absolutely certain that nobody actually passed through that way. Until of course the target passed through that way, and immediately spotted the two corpses spread across the floor like a jam sandwich. I ran in, shot him dead, and then shot the guard unit, and then unloaded my entire clip into a guard across the way, or at least the wall behind him, and then when heading down the stairs I got taken out, so hit restart. In Run 2, after climbing in from the outside and changing into a boring grey suit, I headed to the front entrance in an attempt to locate a melee weapon. The gentleman speaking to the staff worker seemed worried about the lack of security on the room, and she assured him that it was all good. Of course it wasn't, and I choked her out and dumped her body, picked all the locks I could pick, finding an automatic rifle, a bottle of whiskey, a gold bar, and a golden idol. I headed up the stairs and through the security door I'd found in the previous run, fiddled with the electrics, knocked out the investigating guard and dumped his body, then choked out the second guard and dumped his body. I destroyed the security system and then watched as the target made his way up the nearby staircase, and as he entered into the room he was immediately distracted by the electrics being switched off. I managed to choke him out without his guard noticing, and then launched the gold idol at the guard's head, and then had absolutely no idea where to dump either of these bodies. My thoughts were to drag both of the bodies into this cupboard without anybody else noticing, which seemed too idealistic, but I'd be darned if I didn't at least try. I hit save and then began my absurd attempt of dragging the body behind the two guards. My attempt was very short-lived as somebody at the bottom of the staircase spotted me immediately. I got taken out and then hit reload. In run 3 I decided to head through the nearby door where the indecisive janitor was still staring at the vending machine. Hopped over the railings and down the stairs, knocked out a staff worker, found another whiskey bottle, dragged the staff worker into a nearby locker and then headed back up. I was trying to locate a place to dump the 2 bodies, but so far I'd only managed to locate one additional space, which was next to that staff worker I'd just dumped. Once the guard had turned his back, I launched Marcus over the barrier and dragged him into the storage room and dumped his body, then found a laundry room which would have another space for me to dump the other guard. I headed back up and began dragging him away, and then had another idea. I headed out and knocked out the guard on the balcony, alerting nobody to my presence, and then dumped his body in the wardrobe. This meant that I could just drag the last guard into that wardrobe as well. I dragged the guard past the worst guard in the world, and I was happy that everybody that needed to be knocked out and dumped had been knocked out and dumped. I opened the nearby door, waited for the guard to pass, crept up behind him, knocked him out and dumped his body, almost got spotted by the janitor, and then decided to just leave her alone. I opened the nearby double doors and noticed 2 guards that arrived and then left, giving me safe passage up the stairs and toward the makeshift balcony above. There were 3 tech team members up top who were engaged in conversation, and I knew that I needed to get across to the other side to get to the upper levels of the building. After a long time of figuring out their walk patterns and almost getting spotted anyway, I managed to sneak across to the other side and climb the barrier, only to retreat immediately out of fear of getting spotted by the guard. Once he'd moved along, I headed over through the storage room, picked up a hammer to knock out the janitor, and then dumped his body. I checked the map to find a staircase, and then when heading out I almost got spotted by the patrolling guard, but don't worry, it was all good. I approached the penthouse staff and was frustrated to find it needed a key card.
Oh no, it's missing a key card. Oh wait. Oh. I don't need one.
I climbed the stairs, knocked out some guy, dumped his body, picked up a screwdriver, and then really tried to use both of my brain cells to figure out what to do next. I managed to, somehow, make my way into the lavishly decorated living space and crept through until unfortunately I was spotted trespassing. I launched a screwdriver at the guard's head, nobody saw me do it, and for some reason that kept my silent assassin status intact, until the body was spotted, and then it was ruined. I headed up the stairs and past 3 cleaners and then got spotted crouching behind the wall, so began shooting everybody in my way. I came up against a guard who was either blind or confirmed the theory that 47 could turn invisible on command, and after taking everybody out, including the target, I got taken out, so hit restart. In run 4, I carried out the usual plan, but this time choked the second guard in the security room out in his chair, speeding up the process by a couple of seconds. I knocked out the guard on the balcony, dumped his body, and then just lie in wait for the target to arrive. However, I was presented with the same dilemma as last time, being that I didn't have anywhere convenient to dump his body. So, armed with that knowledge and a new idea on the tip of my brain, I hit restart. In run 5, I got spotted choking the first guard out from behind the wall, so hit restart. That wasn't the new idea, can I just say, we will get there eventually. In run 6, when knocking out the guard on the balcony, I choked him out slightly too soon, and his mate turned around, saw me giving his pal a hug from behind, so hit restart. In run 7, after choking out the 2 guards and leaving one of them lying on the floor, I headed out to take out the guard on the balcony, and unfortunately, a member of the tech team walked past and saw his body sprawled across the floor. I killed them both and hit restart. In run 8, I made sure after knocking out the guard to drag his body behind the door so when the lady walked past she wouldn't see anything. I then headed out, knocked out the guard on the balcony and dumped his body, then went back, collected the other guard, dragged him across the balcony and dumped him into the wardrobe, meaning I'd finally set up the area ready to take out Marcus. The only problem was he was miles away. I switched the lights out in preparation for his arrival, and then in an effort to speed things up later on, I knocked out the guard in the corridor and dumped his body. Then as the target began heading towards me, I hid behind the wall, ready to take him out. I snapped his neck, dumped his body, but forgot to switch the lights back on, meaning his guard came to investigate as well. I switched them back on, hoping that he would leave me alone, but he carried on toward me, so I managed to quickly hide behind the locker where his dead boss was hiding, and then he exited the way that I'd originally entered, and I was free. Next, I headed to the tech team and slipped past without any issues, climbed the balcony, headed up the stairs, into the storage room, knocked out the staff, dumped his body, picked up some rat poison, found a toilet, and then headed through the nearby door, coming out near a guard insulting the chef's food. Of course, my first thought was to poison the food that was going to obviously be given to the target. However, when I approached, there was no food to poison, so 47 had to put his chef's hat on and fix it up himself. However, 47 was clearly a novice and took an obscene amount of time preparing the food. The chef spun around, spotted my bald head tampering with his plates, so I knocked him out and then realised that I hadn't saved the game at all yet, so couldn't even reload. I poisoned the food anyway and then set off the egg timer, which was like looking into a mirror. I allowed the firing squad to execute me on the spot and then hit restart. In run 9, I tried searching for a melee weapon and headed to a vending machine, assuming I'd be able to purchase a sody pop. however it only took credit cards and dispensed gold bars. I'm not entirely sure what you need a gold bar for in a place like this, but alas I couldn't purchase one anyway to find out. This run I headed right after heading up the stairs and found myself in a bathroom where I had no opportunity to pick the lock due to a woman gazing at her bald spot in the mirror. I distracted the staff member by fiddling with the toilet, but he became suspicious when I tried heading back in there. I knocked him out along with balding Barbara and then headed through some doors, finding nothing particularly interesting. I eventually walked past some guards into a secure area, hacked into the mainframe to open the window, and then climbed the nearby ladder, taking me towards some precarious scaffolding. Once I'd made it up, I knocked out a nearby guard and stole his outfit, and then headed into the living space of the second target. After running about like a hooligan, I found myself back on the scaffolding that I normally climb to get up to the kitchen area upstairs. After some more mindless shenanigans, I caved Marcus's head in with a hammer and then got taken out, so hit restart. In run 10, when approaching the guard sitting at the computer, he heard me and spotted me, so I hit restart. In run 11, when taking out the guard in the corridor, the indecisive janitor heard the commotion and came to investigate, so I socked her one in the mouth and dumped both of their bodies. I then headed back into the security office where Marcus spotted a pistol I'd forgotten to pick up and made his guard fetch it. In the meantime, Marcus came to investigate the faulty electrics and I thought I'd be able to get away with taking him out. However, it turned out that the box that the guard would take the pistol to was right next to where he found it, so when I choked out Marcus, the guard saw everything clear as day. With that, I hit restart. In run 12, after knocking out the guards and making sure to pick up their pistols, I choked out the indecisive janitor, only for the commotion to be heard by the patrolling guard, so hit restart. In run 13, the tech team lady saw me dragging the guard through the open window, so shot her dead and hit restart. In run 14, after knocking out the two guards, tidying up the area and allowing the tech lady to pass, I knocked out the guard on the balcony and dumped his body, dragged the sprawled guard to the same wardrobe, and then knocked out the final guard in the corridor and dumped his body. The whole area was now completely sanitized, ready for when the target arrived. However, this time when choking out the target, his guard spotted me for the first time, so I shot him dead and then carried on, only to get spotted immediately by another guard, so hit restart. In run 15, I did everything according to plan and even knocked out the janitor for good measure, just in time to see the target heading up the stairs. I hid in a locker and waited for the target to turn the lights back on, slid out, choked him out, snapped his neck and dumped his body. With the first target down at the path laid for how we will do it in the final no HUD run, it was finally time to take on the second target. I headed to the storage room, knocked out the staff worker and picked up the poison and then headed through into the kitchen and saved the game. I waited for the conversation to be over and then waited for the chef to finish cooking on the stove to see if he took longer whilst drinking. He was very quick in moving about the kitchen and there was no way for 47 to prepare the food in time. Regardless, I did try and 47 just about managed it, narrowly avoiding the gaze of the curious guard. Once the guard had moved along and the chef had turned his back, I poisoned the food and ran away, unfortunately causing the chef to become suspicious and then spot me as I fled the scene, so I hit reload. In run 16, I tried running across the duct behind the kitchen counter but got spotted by the guard, so hit reload. In run 17, I waited for the duo to separate and this time just hit the egg timer to see what would happen, and to my amazement the chef began preparing the food instead. As he turned his back, I ran over and poisoned his food, ducked back behind the wall, almost got spotted by Al-Ghazali himself, and then watched as the chef carried the plate over to the table, poisoning Mr. Ingram. I watched in amazement as Ingram entered into the bathroom in the storage room, but then watched on in horror as his two bodyguards forbid anyone from entering behind him. Of course, meaning I would need to be in the bathroom before Ingram showed up. I shot the bodyguards and then punched Ingram and snapped his neck, and then worked on finding an exit. I descended these stairs I'd originally climbed, headed through the storage room with a hammer and janitor, through the adjoining server room, past two more janitors, through a maintenance door, up a ladder, and found a conveniently placed parachute, allowing me to exit in Ethan Hunt style. 4 stars and 17 minutes, and I decided to hit reload once more, just to see if I could complete the mission any cleaner. In run 18, I waited in the bathroom for Ingram and then drowned him in the toilet, and then realised that I was now trapped in there with him and his two bodyguards on the other side. Eventually, they both began to move along, however one of them decided to enter the bathroom and spotted his boss deceased upon the floor. With 47's bald head gleaming from around the corner, I was certain he would spot me, but to my surprise, he just walked straight past me. I threw myself off the side of the building and finished the mission with 5 stars and in 16 minutes. So after 18 runs, it was time to turn all the HUD options off and attempt the mission for the final time. Now, without further ado, I present to you my no HUD, suit only, silent assassin, master difficulty run of On Top of the World.
47. Come in. 47, do you copy?
I'm here.
Are you in position?
I'm heading towards the point of entry.
Good. Get back to me when you're there. scan the lock, will you? I think I can override the Windows controls from here.
I'm in position.
47, the inauguration is taking place close by. Once you've infiltrated it, get your bearings. I'm sure there must be floor plans somewhere.
Understood.
We need absolute focus on this one. If Ingram and Stuyvesant are alerted to our presence, we may lose them for good. We are so close, 47.
Don't worry. They're not going anywhere.
Welcome.
So glad
Oh, you're here! How wonderful!
Any news on the new guard assigned to codename Pinky? I got word that he Say what?
But with a small loan from my father, I soon built up a construction empire that was worthy of the great Al-Ghazali legacy. So, I would like to thank
How does this thing work?
So, I'm humbly proud to open the Burj Al-Ghazali.
darling, you know how it works. We've gone over this 1,000 times. What you do, get the sale, then you get me. Thank you. My day, and I pay you to make sure I can. Yes, good. Now off you go. I have important things to take care of. Look, I'll just have the one drink. I'm sure if I'm needed out there, one of the technicians will come and find me. I want to share my... I never met him, but he loved art.
"47. I would like to address the Providence partners directly. I want them to know why this is happening. And I have an idea, but it requires you finding a map terminal.
And it's on.
You got him, 47. Marcus Stuyvesant won't be a problem anymore. Let's move on to Carl Ingram. We're not done yet.
Huh? Okay.
Are you kidding me? No, it needs to simmer for perfection. It must not be disturbed. You speed it up and you break all the glorious flavors. It'll become mush.
Well, I got a call from upstairs that the guest is hungry.
When that clock rings, Mr. Ingram can eat, and it will be like the angels touched his palate. Heavenly. You understand?
But isn't it just a stew?
Oh, get out of my kitchen, you imbecile. I don't want your filthy words contaminating my... Excellent. Better start plating.
I hate to eat alone. Would you join me?
Of course. It would be an honor.
I used to own restaurants. A dozen or so. Michelin stars. If they didn't have at least two, I'd sell them. I only own the best. But then those handsome TV chefs started to come and but they make me sick.
Oh, easy now. Don't blow a fuse.
We got him, 47. Soon there will be no more Providence. You need to find an exit. Our business is done here, but it's far from over.
From what I got, it seems to be an accident. Yeah, pretty sure. Huh? All right, out.
It's me. I thought about what you said. Yeah, I changed my mind. It was an insane idea to start with. Exploding gold. I don't want to fight right now.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then do be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all future episodes. Like I said at the beginning, this episode was live streamed over on Twitch, where you get to see all of the accidents and mishaps we made along the way, including many failed no HUD attempts. All future episodes will be live streamed as well, so make sure you check out the link in the description to make sure you're following to join in the hunt. I'll catch you in the next video, ready to take on 47's next mission in the dreary, bleak wetlands of Dartmoor, England.